The mind is so great that sometimes it will be the primary thing to imprison you. And other times, you would have figured out something that's a highlight in your stage of development. But until you figure out that there's something greater that evolves into, that will be the confines of everything that you think you know. I have very few and short words for my brothers and sisters here in North America that have an idea or have heard or truly deep down felt that they are greater than that which they've been loosely told, loosely shown, either by their own family members or by others. That whole back to Africa thing that most North Americans are now running away from, good, you do that. But know that that whole back to Africa thing was sold to you by your own people here. Look into the origin of it. And even if you look deeper, you realize that no so-called Africans ever gave you that concept. So in the process of you saying that you're not an African, if you really know what an African is, in the process of you saying you're not that, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because your progenitors worked very hard. In fact, sacrificed their lives, were murdered, were betrayed, just so they could reorganize the treaties and the old relationships that they had with their brothers and sisters in Asia Minor and Asia Major. You see this man all the way to the left? If you're a Moor, regardless of whether you're in a temple or you do comprehend that your temple is just a physical house and the soul owns it, whatever the hierarchy of degree you think you have, do you recognize this man all the way to the left? If you don't, his name is Duse Muhammad Ali. And he had a very special relationship with Noble Joe Ali. Whatever your affiliation is, ask whoever it is that you think is well versed in what you think your heritage is. Ask him about Duse Muhammad Ali. Now ask him why he went to this part of the world called West Africa, specifically the part of the world called Nigeria. See, these people that are your direct lineage progenitors knew something that you still don't know. You're merely figuring this out within the 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 years of you hearing something from someone outside of your own personal research. And when you do your personal research, you allow other people's perspective and hype to sway you from the true intent. The reuniting of Asia that was spoken of in the Circa 7 Quran goes far beyond this thing you call Turtle Island. And your little small grasp of breadcrumbs, hype of I'm an American, I ain't from Africa. Ain't no damn African claiming you to be an African in the first place. Those goddamn Africans don't refer to themselves as African either. And you probably figured that out also, right? But you're still kind of lost. If no one has told you that, I'm telling you that. If you feel challenged or upset, that's fine. Maybe you should. Because in the process of you thinking you're claiming something that's valuably yours, you are throwing out a whole lot of hard work that those who have came before you have left for you. The whole story about your brothers and sisters coming from the East that was written by Noble Joe Ali, the opportunity is in front of you every day, right here, right now. And you are waving it. You are just walking across it, stepping on it without realizing. But the bad part is that you're not even walking across and stepping on it. The bad part is you're doing it confidently. You're happy about it. You're gleeful about it. Here goes the allies that you have all over the world, intending to assist you. Here you are. A little bit of something, you think you figured it all out. That itself is going to be your demise. Because time is running. And these things that your progenitors have done, and this is just Duse Ali we're talking about. There are more. There are way more than just Duse Ali as an example. You've heard about the Havana, Cuba treaty with Noble Ali, right? Do you know what led up to that? Look into this man called Duse Ali. Look into his activity in Europe and in Asia Minor, specifically that part of the world called Nigeria. See, there's a reason why so-called United States, which everyone loosely calls a corporation, which it is, there's a reason why they only accept certain people from certain part of the world en masse to come in, because there's an ancient treaty that is still being enforced with certain allies of the Moroccan Empire. Whatever the larger dominant number of people from any given part of the world that you still see coming over here being given visa and all that to do commerce, that is just an inferior conversion of what already exists predominantly. And that should raise an alarm or a question in your mind as to why is it that this specific part of the world, there is more of these guys coming here. In the process of you linking back who you think or say you are, the least you can do is look at what's obviously in front of you and take it from there, because all the clue you need is already there. Here's another clue in case you've yet to figure it out or you think you figured it out. In the process of that, you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You think you're going to do this alone, but you can't do it alone, because the self-executing perfected mechanism that exists in nationhood, and the principle behind nationhood and bloodline and nationality that you're always harking and barking about is not going to allow you to do it alone. Because if at any moment you slip through the crack and do it alone, you will fall faster once more than you took to get to that time. And it will take much longer when it comes to the ages and cycles of things for you to get to where you are now. So much has been sacrificed just to get you where you are right now in today's age of technology. The least you can do for yourself to assist yourself is to not hamper your own ability to evolve. It's to not hamper the allies that you have. But if you intend to stay stuck in belligerence, if you intend to stay stuck as using this concept of nationality as another way out just to yell and scream something, just to feel special, you go ahead and keep doing that. But for the exceptions who know their Moors, who know what birthright truly is, who knows what nationality truly is, and you've yet to really figure it out, but you're still looking for it, I highly implore you to look into this book. Called Deus Muhammad Ali and the Development of Pan-Africanism, 1866 to 1945, Volume 2. This was an image taken outside the mosque at working at Eid al-Fitr festival in the year 1920. Who were involved? Deus Muhammad Ali, right here. Find the relationship this man had with Noble Ali that you go on about so much. Noble Ali is great, but Noble Ali had other brothers and sisters here in North America who are also doing things before him and while he was alive. Everyone knew about Marcus Garvey, all that. Okay, good, but look into the other Moors. Everyone knows about the Nation of Islam branch. Okay, good, but look into the other Moors who stuck to that aspect. There is a reason why that part called West Africa has people who engage in traditional stuff loosely called paganism, which if you know what paganism, you know is basically just nature's principle. And then you have other people who openly practice Islam. which is also has all those foundational principles in it. And you would also have Christians simultaneously. There's an influence that was well known about how Christianity in modern times got to that place called Asia Minor, from Asia Major and the royal families. And there was an active work being done by your direct lineage progenitors here from North and South America to make sure that that thing within the modern time does not spread like virus. And they sacrificed their life, they dedicated their whole life, time, effort, will, wealth, everything to it. And believe it or not, most of the things that so-called Moors now are doing, newly found and not finding out these things, they are abandoning everything that their progenitors have done to preserve the integrity of what a nation is. It is not by mere coincidence or sweet good talk when Noble Drew Ali mentions certain things over and over regarding nation, regarding the uniting of Asia. Those aren't just some cool words combined together on a piece of paper. They have functional significance. Duse Ali to the left, Chief Ulua in the middle right here, him. The Imam and Muhammad Yahya, son of Chief Ulua, outside the mosque. There's a lot that's missing in transition that people don't know about. But you must know about it. And the solution is always far closer to you than you think. All it takes, you should try this and test yourself out. Too much videos going on YouTube, people asking about, oh, do you refer to yourselves as black? What do you think about blacks? What's your nationality? All that. Okay, that shit is getting old and irritating. Instead, try this. The conversation that you would have with other so-called Africans, when you somehow manage to meet them instead of flaunting your fez and thinking you're doing something special, they don't give a fuck about that. They grew up in a household seeing that every day. It's no different than seeing somebody wear a snapback or a baseball hat. Just because you're doing now, you have a cool conversation, but after that, what have you done besides just coming together talking about something and then parting ways? How are you linking back the empire? And when you're having these conversations, instead of just trying to prove a point, try to build a point, that starting point where you can draw and create something beyond just merely trying to let them know, hey, I'm not black, I'm a Moor, I know this and that, Maghrib al-Aqsa, that stuff. Okay, cool, but what now? What do you do after that? Start to engage in certain nature of conversation relating to certain activities that took place with your progenitors, your immediate, most recent progenitors, with those of those specific part of the world. In this specific case, West Africa. If you see any so-called West Africans, Nigerians, with Islamic names, that right there is a signal. It's letting you know that there's something there that you should be connecting with. People here adopt Islamic and Muslim names, which is rightfully theirs. People there grew up in a household where the naming ceremony and the rituals were done by way of Islamic names. It's rights. Ask them about that. The names, the rights that goes along with those names when the child is born, how the Hadan is done to the ear of the child, how honey and salt is used. All those things that you would read in the Nabatean agriculture and the Sabians, all those stuff. Have that conversation with them. That is when you're really truly dealing with nationality. When you start from that point with them, way more doors would open beyond the whole trash of what's your nationality. We're not black, Nigerians, this and that. That stuff is getting old. Evolve past that. There's a lot of opportunities that exist for you as a Moor here, but you will never ever be able to access it if you're stuck on just the ego trip aspect of it. Get off the stage of, oh, look, it's a statue, it's a monument, it's a Moor. Okay, cool. This whole thing is built around that. Now start functioning truly with it. Stop being speculative. Stop being a fan. Stop being fanatical with it. Get over yourself. Look at the totality of circumstance. See, the people kicking your ass in this world, they see the bigger picture. You don't see them coming together doing all this stuff, but behind closed door, oh, they're working very hard. They know that they're allies with one another. You, on the other hand, you're not doing that though. I'm saying this from what I've seen and from what I've had firsthand experience with. There's way too much opportunity for you to constantly keep losing out on it. Basic, simple, one-on-one rights. You don't even know it. Yet you say you're a Moor. There are always exceptions, but the majority don't know their rights. How can you begin to go anywhere if you don't know those basic things? And instead of you having that golden opportunity to actually carry a fruitful conversation beyond, hey, look at me, I'm different, so think of me differently because I'm wearing this or I'm saying this. No, get to the point of the substance of what nationality, culture, heritage is. So that when you leave that conversation with that so-called West African or East African or South African or North African, whatever it is people call them, substance will be planted in both of your mind to the point where you want to get back together and actually functionally do something to change the social, economic, spiritual, physical, financial motion and lifestyle. Because believe it or not, everything being done here in North America, as much as people might want to take pride in it, that they all want to be like us, they all trying to talk like us, dress like us. The way your music, your clothes, those jerseys or Jordan, those Nike shoes, all those were introduced to West Africa and the whole of Asia Minor through missionary Christians. There are CIA files about this, whereby they concluded that, you know what? The easiest and quickest way to influence these people and strip them of their culture there in Asia Minor is to feed them with the same system that we've used as a tool and weapon against their brothers and sisters there in North America. So the things that you're bragging about, you think is cool, rap, jerseys, Nikes, the way you speak, all that is a tool of usurpation that's being used against them. It's a virus. It's not cool. Get over that. Get over yourself. This is a reality that someone needs to give to you that you don't realize. Because if you've read all these alphabet boys unclassified files, you see that the things you brag about the world is not cool at all. It's a virus. And when you get that opportunity to speak to that so-called African, build on something else beyond just mere feel good of it. Get past that feel good stage. No one cares about that. Begin by reading this book. It will do you a whole lot of good. It would open your eyes to a whole lot of things as to how much effort your immediate progenitors put into certain things, and how much they were willing to risk their lives. And the tools and the pieces they've left for you to pick up. See, these people were so wise that they did not expect any special grand man or woman with any special skill to come and pick up from where they ended. No. They wholeheartedly believed in the story of that farm boy who knows nothing about the city life, oblivious to everything, and the world is about to end. All of a sudden, the great dragon came and gave him the power, say, hey, you're the chosen one. And he's like, what, huh, me? Yes, you, come. And then before he knew it, he's kicking everybody's ass. You don't have to be extraordinary at anything for you to really be able to do stuff. But your greatest enemy is your mind. The hype of you being an American, that's lower than rudimentary. That's not even the starting point. Get to the starting point and begin to actually work on it. There's a lot more about this thing called nationality that you don't know about beyond merely calling yourself a Moor or Moorish American, or about Turtle Island, or about the classification of Moor within the Department of Agriculture, or about the temple. Learn the truth beyond the box of the world that you live in. Don't let nationality be another box. You're hopping from one small box to just another box a little bit bigger. There's a totality of circumstance. And here's another truth. Saying the whole world is waiting for us because we're special. You're right, you're special. I'm not sorry to say this, but you're like that special kid in class that everybody's just waiting on, like, oh, great, now we gotta wait on this one. Get your shit together and be realistic with yourself. Don't get stuck on one degree. There's a lot of work that's been done, and a lot of it has to be picked up by you. A lot. See, the one you need to be most prudent of is not the ones you're looking at. Because during the time of these men, the ones that did their best to stop them were not some so-called Africans. They were your brothers and sisters from here. Even up till now, the ones doing the hardest work to prevent you from getting to that which has been placed strategically in different parts of the world for you are your brothers and sisters, your cousins, your aunts, your niece. You better start speaking to them so that you can weed out the right ones or the not so right ones. Better know what you're doing. Beyond mere buzzwords. The world is moving so quick, things are changing so quick. If you don't pick up the baton, it just might be too late. It just might be. Take your time and slow down. Don't let the hype train and ego and feel good aspect of finding out something new. Don't let it carry you away. It's good to feel good about yourself, you should. But don't throw the baby out with the bath water, because that just might be where your inheritance lies. On the obverse, there are also your own brothers and sisters here that want to help you. But you just so lost in the sauce so much that they are discouraged to assist you. Because a certain state of mind has to exist for any of that baton to be picked up. But you know it requires work though, right? Once that baton is passed from one track runner to the other, the one who receives the baton has to work harder and move faster than the previous man did. You know that, right? Okay. And of course there are always exceptions. This is not just a general thing. There are always those who knew and even knows more beyond what I'm saying here and reads in between the line of everything that I'm saying here. This is not for those people. It's for those of you who are easy to be hypnotized by that which is not beneficial to you, but your heart is good. Stop wasting time. Yeah, time never was when man was not, but guess what? Time is a law of its own that will kick your ass if you don't know what you're doing. If only you knew so much that's being done, that's been planned to prevent you, to counteract what's already been done that's been planned to assist you. If only you knew. you would not be stuck in that just 1 degree. If only you knew. So much so that this man called Deus Muhammad Ali, you know where he was buried? Look into it. Look where his burial ground and burial site is. And then start to look as to why he deliberately planned to be buried at that part of the world. And then look into ancestral heritage and burial sites. How where one man is buried determines the inheritance of those to come after him. And most importantly, the importance of how, just like you use marriage as treaties, you can use burying someone's body somewhere as treaty also. Did you know that? Because now you're taking the essence of someone, you're consecrating to a land mass. That stuff is no joke. Some real stuff. Look into these things. Don't get lost in the sauce. Don't get lost in the hype. Yes, you're an American. Yes, you're a Moor. But if you get stuck on that, you will get your ass kicked by the whole world. The least you can say is someone never told you. If you are still within those rudimentary stages, that commerce is bad because some entities utilizing commercial activities to engage in fraud, so you should run away from it. Do you not know that commerce is the sole intent as to why wars are fought? Do you not know that commerce is the reason why that your inheritance was placed in the hands of a rogue trustee? Did you not know that commerce was what these great men were doing when they were going all over the world to interface with them with a very simple and specific intent in mind? You would keep complaining about other people coming here making money off your neighborhood. Do you not know commerce is a mode of operation that's a norm all around the world internationally? Just because you halted commerce in your mind, in your life, doesn't mean the archaic ancient principles and how commerce is engaged in since time immemorial is going to automatically stop just because of your state of mind. Should that not tell you that just because somebody is using commerce to abrogate on you, should that not tell you that you should try to figure it out the right way and ally yourself with the right people to get the right things done? Or else you're going to stay in this alone. There are many different ways engagements are done. Some are obvious, some not so much. More subtle ones are the one that makes the biggest changes. You better start engaging in it beyond just knowing some cool guy here that you tell about you not being an African and then spend some knowledge, and that stuff is not intriguing. Just intellectual masturbation. You better start doing something. Something is happening right now that will not favor you if you don't do something about it. By the way, there's a lot of successful millionaire black people who do international commerce. Yeah, we know. Yes, there are. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you, the one who knows you're more, but you're not doing commerce. I'm talking to you. Those in so-called West Africa have already given that opportunity to engage in those type of activities. Those so-called wealthy black people who wanted to do commerce with them, but those wealthy black people basically colonized and basically enslaved their brothers and sisters in West Africa in modern times. Look into a man named Joseph Jenkins Robert, first president of that part of the world in West Africa, called Liberia. Look at Liberia's map. Look at Liberia's flag. Look at how Liberia came to be. It was straight colonization by so-called wealthy black people. How come they're not telling you that part of your history? So if you're going to come and try to interface with other people from other part of the world, you better be honorable. Because in modern times, an attempt was made and an open arms was made by the rest of the world. But those so-called wealthy black people colonized and enslaved their own people through the help of William Tubman. So I'm not talking about those so-called wealthy black people. I'm talking about you with actual potential to start from the scratch. Yet you're not necessarily starting from the scratch because you have so much waiting for you. That's who the rest of the world is looking for. And all that colonization by so-called African Americans who were wealthy took place a little bit before the first Civil Rights Public Act was passed in 1866. All that colonization took place around 1840 something, 1850 something, and a little bit before then, with the assistance of the same people that they supposedly were trying to free themselves from. And the activities of these same so-called wealthy African American, wealthy black people that went over there and colonized their brothers and sisters effectively undermined all the activities, or at least attempted to undermine activities of people like Duse Muhammad Ali and Noble Ali and other men. So now you here saying you're Moor, you're this and that, you ain't African, you're American. Yeah, cool. That's old news. But how do you substantiate that with the allies that you have over the world? And do you know of the treaties that you have with these specific part of the world beyond the 1787 Treaty of Peace and Friendship that most people really don't even know why and how they cannot enforce it? Be realistic with yourself. Open your eyes to the truth and stop being your own demise. The more time goes on, the more that door closes. This is someone giving you a nudge, telling you, pay attention. Pay attention. Because your own people here are probably closer to the source of the problem than you think other people are. And that baby that you're throwing out of the bathwater is the value itself. Don't get lost in the sauce of hype. Don't miss a lot within the transition. There's a lot going on right now that you need to act on, or else the opportunity will close. Now, of course, some people that look like you here benefits from that. They always have since time immemorial. There's always two forces doing one thing or the other. And you have to be aware of it. You have to be realistic and not be delusional.